taking your audience questions. Please submit your questions at davidpakman.com. Click on Contact Us. The other thing you can do is record a video of yourself asking the question, upload it to YouTube, and then send it to us through our website, davidpakman.com, and we'll answer those as well. Here's a question about the Electoral College, Lewis. Let's take a listen to this.
And Guatemala, of course.
Okay, so as usual, the volume is not up. Let's take a listen to this question.
Hey there, David and Lewis, and Guatemala, of course. I have a question about the U.S. election, the electoral vote, to be specific. As a guy from Sweden, it's always kind of confused me. It seems a bit undemocratic. If you're a Democrat and you live in Texas, and of course you vote for the Democratic president or the candidate, there's still no chance that the Democratic candidate will win Texas and will never win the electoral vote from Texas. Doesn't that mean your vote is kind of wasted? And why doesn't the guy who wins the popular vote just win? What's up with the electoral system?
Right. So he's making very good points, and we've been talking about the antiquated nature of the Electoral College for a while. Initially, the Electoral College was established because without it, candidates would focus their time simply on population centers, the big cities, and therefore they would get all the attention. The voters there would be able to have the candidates there, ask questions, so on and so forth, and more rural areas would be ignored, essentially making it so that really it was an election between cities, population centers. Electoral College is established, and then the primary system came connected with that of having these primaries, including New Hampshire and Iowa, some of the first ones, and those kind of set the tone for what's going to happen and who are going to be the candidates. So what did that lead to? That left to the big states being completely ignored. Candidates barely campaign in New York or California or Texas, as you're mentioning, but it's really just flipped it around. Now these small rural states have disproportionate power and attention being paid to them, while the population centers are completely ignored. Now, perfect example, if in Texas you voted for President Obama, you only have the opportunity to offset a vote of someone voting for Mitt Romney in Texas, completely separate from what goes on in the rest of the country. Is that really democratic? Some people would argue it isn't. What do you think, Lewis?
It's a system that has to go. And now Maine, for example, put a system into place where, depending on what percentage of a vote the other candidate got, the person
right, the margin,
who did not win the state, they might receive one of the electoral votes of the state. Now, if every state did something like that, I think that could balance things out a little bit more, but it should be the popular vote.
Yeah, Natan, is that the simplest way to basically have a popular vote system for each state to change their rules so that they have proportional awarding of delegates?
Yes, because to pass a constitutional amendment, you need 3/4 of the states to ratify it. And that's unlikely because more than a quarter of the states would be against it because they're small states, and they would say that they benefit from the current system.
They want to keep their power.
Right. It's useful to point out to the caller, though, that the Electoral College system has two aspects. We're only talking about one. The other is that it's an indirect election. We elect electors to go, and the real election is held in January when the electors actually vote in the House of Representatives. So there is a further buffer there to directly electing the politicians.
Exactly. So I agree. I think we need a new system. We need to get rid of the Electoral College system. What do you think? Let me know. Send in your questions, davidpakman.com. Click on Contact Us.